There's one shotgun you must own for subsistence, homestead, and farm. So buckle up. Hi everybody, welcome back to the LocaCarnivore. Glad you could make it. Today, let's talk about the one shotgun you must own for subsistence, homestead, and farm. Now, in a previous video, which a lot of you have seen so far, thank you so much for that, we talked about the 3 guns overall that you must own. Now, we'll put a link to that in the description so you can go check out that video if you want. And in that particular video, we talked about several different types of long guns, shotguns among them, but it was more of an overview. Today's going to be a little deeper dive into this. So we're going to talk about the one shotgun you must own. Now, there's several types of shotgun out there available. The basic ones are a semi-automatic, a lever action, a pump action, and a brake action. So you've got 4 different action types. And we're going to discount the semi-automatics for this discussion, and I didn't bring one out for you to look at because I don't think it applies for this particular role. The reason is semi-automatic shotguns, with one exception, in my opinion, are not reliable enough to depend on for self-defense. And let's face it, in a subsistence, homestead, or farm environment or scenario, self-defense might be one of the roles that that shotgun has to play for you, as well as taking care of pests, predators, and also hunting and putting food on the table. So we're not going to talk about that particular one. The exception is the Benelli M4. That's a combat-proven design. However, it's not very good for hunting, doesn't have adjustable chokes, etc., etc. So that's kind of off the table. The lever gun, of course, there's not a lot of lever gun shotguns out on the market out there. They've always been produced sporadically, and since they're so, I would call them semi-rare, it really doesn't bear discussion. I would put them in the same league, however, as a pump shotgun as far as utility and operability and things like that. But I'm not going to discuss the lever guns because they're just too small a portion of the market. So let's get into it. Well, that leaves 2 of the action types off the table. We're going to get to the one that you must own at the end of the video, so just stay with us here. By the way, if you get a chance, give us a big like, thumbs up. Please subscribe. We'd love to have you on the team, and ring that notification bell. Let's talk about the basic guns. Let's start with the pump action. Now, pump action has a lot going for it, and over and above the semi-automatic. The pump action is immune to ammunition problems. It's not going to be fussy with one load or another load or whatever. Since it's manually operated by the shooter, and basically, if you operate that and can operate the slide, you can operate the gun. It's pretty versatile because you can change ammo if you've got one type of round in a chamber and you need a different type of round for whatever comes up. You can easily take a round, say off a bandolier or wherever out of your pocket, put it in the magazine tube, and then what you would do is work the action, catch the round that's currently in the chamber, and then chamber the round that you do need. So it's pretty versatile that way, and again, it's pretty close to foolproof. It doesn't depend on having your body pressed up against the shotgun to resist the recoil on a recoil-operated semi-automatic, nor is it dependent on a gas system, which may, because of lack of maintenance or something like that, might not function for you when you really need it. Now the pumps, frankly, I'm not advising you to not clean your guns and keep them oiled, but this old Mossberg 500, it's seen very little maintenance during its life. It's been dropped, it's been run over, all sorts of things have happened to it. And as you can see, it still runs just fine. Now the pump does have the advantage in you can use multiple barrels because the barrel comes apart very quickly. I'm not going to show you how to do it so I don't inadvertently step on YouTube's toes because they're really touchy about when you can take a gun apart, when you can't. So long story short, it's easy to take apart. You just undo the retaining bolt up there, and then with the action open, just slide the barrel out. And that means you can put other barrels in, like say this 18.5-inch police defensive barrel, house defense barrel. You can use something like that. And with this old Mossberg, that's kind of an advantage because the barrels never came with adjustable chokes. This was pre-adjustable chokes for the most part. Well, high-end shotguns had them, but not these Mossbergs. So you'd have to actually change the barrels out. This one has a modified choke, and then the police barrel there has a cylinder bore. So that's the pump shotgun. Again, very versatile, but I think the brake actions might be a little bit better choice. Let's get into those. Sit, stay. Brake actions come in 2 varieties. Like we said, side-by-side, double barrel, side-by-side or over and under, superimposed, or we could also have a single shot. Let's take a look real quick, and we're not talking brand of shotgun or anything like that. I mean, I don't have any, agreements with anybody, don't have any sponsorships. I'm open to things, but as long as I can maintain control of the situation and we can maintain our independence, certainly I'm open to sponsorships. But we don't have affiliate programs or anything like that. So I'm not shilling for anybody. So that's why I generally don't cover brands that much. However, this is an old Stevens single shot 20 gauge. Very nice shotgun, very light, very small. It is a compact stock model, so it fits a smaller statured shooter. However, I've discovered that standard sized people or even larger can handle these guns since it doesn't require an absolute, precise cheek weld like a rifle or something like that. So it's quite good. Really handy, and carries beautifully. However, as you see, we've only got one round available, and that can be a little problematic, especially in a defensive scenario. I'd like to have at least 2 shots, especially like if I'm defending myself from a bear or something like that. It's good to have that backup shot. So the single shot, maybe not the best bet necessarily, but it'll definitely get the job done, and one of the better guns to have, frankly. Now, of course, if you're looking for more content, we do have more content at the LocaCarnivore website. The link's in the description there. While you're there, go to the store. There's a link off of that. Get some merchandise, help out the channel. We'd appreciate that. All right then, let's get to the one type of shotgun you must own, and that is, in my humble opinion, well, I don't have humble opinions. People who know me will tell you that. However, it would be a double, a 2-shot break open shotgun. This one happens to be a CZ Bob White. I like it. There are other shotguns out there, more expensive and less expensive out there as well. Good price double, good value in my opinion. It's not an advertisement for them. I just happen to like the shotgun. We're going to do a full review at some point. So the double gives you several advantages. And the one is, of course, over the single shot break open, you have 2 rounds. So you have a quick follow-up shot. And the way I like my doubles equipped is with double triggers, i.e. a trigger for each barrel. Now, they're not a front and a back trigger like it looks like. What you actually have is the front trigger is the right barrel, and then the back trigger operates the left barrel. Now, the advantage here is you can put different chokes in each barrel, assuming you have adjustable chokes. But you can put 2 chokes, different chokes in each barrel, and then you can then select choke just by moving your finger instead of moving a noisy safety switch, which is where most of the selection is on most of those types of guns, especially in over-unders. That's where you're going to find that, unless you get a double trigger one. So why the double then, as opposed to the pump, for instance? Frankly, this has a faster backup shot, has a faster second shot. Once you get used to manipulating the triggers, and you're going to shoot the rear one, the left barrel first, and then the right barrel, because under recoil, if your finger slips, it could fire the second barrel inadvertently, and then you're completely out of ammunition, have to reload. From self-defense, of course, you have 2 rounds instead of 1, and you come out, you come into a hallway or a doorway with a double barrel shotgun, people will respect you, I guarantee you. Now, everybody talks about the slide action and that sound. Yeah, it's universal language, but you're holding a double, people will think twice about what they're doing, in my opinion. Hey, while you're at it, do us a big favor, share this video, put it all over the planet for us, will you? Thanks. Now this has the same advantage as the other shotgun, as the pump, in that you can change ammo quickly. You can just pop the gun open, pull out what you don't want, put what you do want in, and reclose the action. Really quick, really smooth, once you practice it a little bit. Frankly, I'd like to have ejectors on a shotgun. This one just has extractors, but for the price, you're not going to get ejectors. That would have been probably another $200–400 at least on the shotgun price. Now the big double, the reason I like the side-by-side as opposed to a over and under, is this wide sight plane. You can pull lead very easily by putting the barrels either in front of or behind your target, and pull lead a lot easier than with just a single barrel. Also, that wide plane, even if it's a rushed shot on something very close, will give you a rough line of sight and generally put you right on target. The other thing that we get an advantage of in the double is, as well as a single, you can usually take the guns apart, put them in a backpack or whatever you need to do, duffel bags, saddlebags, whatever, and then reassemble them when you need them when you get to where you're going. So that's an advantage versus, yeah, you can break down a pump as well, but it doesn't break down as neatly in my opinion. Now the other thing about the double compared to the pump shotgun here is the length of the gun. Now both of these guns, the pump and the double, have 28-inch barrels. As you can see though, the pump gun is substantially shorter, good 3 going on 4 inches shorter. Much handier, much easier to manage, especially if you're in a lot of heavy cover or brush or something like that. The reason is the double doesn't need all the mechanism for feeding the rounds, like the slide action, like the pump does. So that gets the gun shorter overall. Very nice advantage. Plus, they generally tend to swing better, and they're not noisy. They don't rattle, which I think is a very good thing, especially if you're like using them to hunt deer with slugs or something like that. So that's another big advantage of the double. What do you think is the one shotgun you must own for this purpose, for homestead, farm, and subsistence? Let us know in the comments. Let us know what shotgun you use for that purpose. We'd love to hear from you. There you have it. The one shotgun you must own for subsistence, homestead, and farm use. Thank you so much for taking your valuable time to spend with us today at the LocaCarnivore. We appreciate it. And remember, the ultimate act of resistance is insisting upon facts.